Hi future officers, welcome to EduTap and welcome to another important City 360 series session in which we cover the most important G and ESI current affairs from the exam point of view. And in today's session, we will be covering some important reports which have been released in the month of February 2025. Right? And these reports are relevant and important for your RBI, NABARD, SEBI and banking examinations. तो banking examination में चाहे आपका SBI PO है, क्लर्क है या फिर आपका IBPS PO है और एनी अदर एग्जामिनेशन, इट कैन बी द इंश्योरेंस एग्जामिनेशंस एज वेल, तो यहाँ पर इन सभी एग्जामिनेशंस के लिए ये रिपोर्ट्स इंपॉर्टेंट हैं. राइट, सो आज के सेशन में हम कवर करेंगे टोटल 3 रिपोर्ट्स को. दैट इज द रिपोर्ट ऑन स्टेटस ऑफ डेवोल्यूशन टू पंचायत इन द स्टेट्स, करप्शन परसेप्शन इंडेक्स एंड द मोस्ट पावरफुल कंट्रीज इन 2025. राइट, तो इन तीनों रिपोर्ट्स को डिटेल्ड और कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव मैनर में आज हम सेशन को कवर करेंगे. बट बिफोर स्टार्टिंग दिस सेशन, आई होप कि आपने हमारे पुराने सेशंस को अच्छे से रिवाइज कर लिया है, क्योंकि वेरी सून वी विल बी हैविंग द रिवीजन सेशन ऑफ द सेम एंड दैट इज व्हाई इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर यू कि आप उनको अच्छे से रिवाइज कीजिए एंड आफ्टर दैट यू विल बी एबल टू एनालाइज योरसेल्फ what is your preparation level. Right, so now guys, let's come back to this session and let's start the today's session with the very first report, that is the report on status of devolution of panchayats in the states. The status of devolution to panchayats in the states. So basically what amount of power, responsibilities and resources we are devoluting, we are giving to the panchayats. ये रिपोर्ट उसके स्टेटस को एनालाइज करती है. लेट मी गिव यू अ वेरी ब्रीफ एक्सप्लेनेशन अबाउट द सेम. एक कॉन्टेक्स्ट हम डिसाइड करते हैं पहले. राइट, सो गाइस वी ऑल नो दैट इन इंडिया वी आर हैविंग अ विजन ऑफ विकसित भारत थ्रू ग्राम स्वराज. राइट, तो ग्राम स्वराज से हम इंडिया को डेवलप्ड नेशन बनाना चाहते हैं. एंड वी ऑल नो दैट एट द ग्रास रूट लेवल दीज आर द विलेजेस जिनको हमें सबसे पहले डेवलप करने की रिक्वायरमेंट है. राइट, एंड एज अ पार्ट ऑफ दिस विजन we basically want to empower the panchayats in our country. And how we want to empower them? By devoluting them proper appropriate amount of resources, powers and responsibilities. Right, and guys, let me tell you that 73rd amendment to the Constitution of India granted the constitutional status to the panchayats. Similarly, Constitution में it has also been mentioned that the states and the union territories are required to devolve some power and responsibilities to these panchayats, and we want these panchayats to make them self-reliable. Right, that's how they will be developed. Right, so now my dear friends, this particular report analyzes that whether these panchayats are well equipped with all the resources and responsibilities and powers so that they can fulfill their constitutional powers. Right, so that they can fulfill their constitutional rules. And that is why we see this report, that is status of devolution to panchayat in the states. Right, so this report is being prepared by Indian Institute of Public Administration under the Ministry of Panchayati Raj. And it provides analysis of the devolution of power to Panchayati Raj institutions. तो जो हमारे पंचायती राज institutions हैं उनको कितनी पावर्स दी गई हैं, that is what we are analyzing, and we are also evaluating the progress which has been made by states and UTs in devoluting these powers to the Panchayati Raj institutions. So as a part of this report, we are encouraging the states to make a certain kind of ecosystem, so where we are providing the appropriate amount of powers and responsibilities to the Panchayati Raj institutions in our country. Right, so this report analyzes and evaluates this particular part. Now let's move on to the next important part, that there are some dimensions which have been fixed by the IIPA in order to assess and to make this evaluation. Now what are these 6 dimensions? This includes the framework, functions, finances, functionaries, capacity enhancement and accountability. So we have to provide the powers and responsibilities across all these dimensions, and that's why these dimensions are really very important to be assessed in the case of the Panchayati Raj institutions. Right, now guys, it is very important for us to understand some key important highlights of this report. So this report mentions, अगर हम बात करते हैं devolution के, because we told you that in this report we will be discussing that how much devolution of this power and responsibilities has been done to these Panchayati Raj institutions by states and union territories. So across India, the devolution of power and responsibility to the rural local bodies have increased from 39.9% to 43.9% in 2021-2022. Please remember this part, it is very important. Then the capacity enhancement component जो है, among these 6 dimensions, there is a capacity enhancement component. In that component also we have seen a substantial increase, that as it was earlier at 44% and now it has increased to 54.6%. And we have seen this change after the execution of the Rashtriya Gram Swaraj Abhiyan. We all know that there is a scheme that is Rashtriya Gram Swaraj Abhiyan. So after the implementation of this scheme in 2018, we have seen this substantial increase in the capacity enhancement component of this particular index. Right now, guys, when we talk about the functionaries component, it has also increased from 39.6% to 50.9%, right? And this reflects the kind of efforts that these states and UTs have taken in strengthening the rural local bodies. ठीक है, और ये कैसे हुआ? बाय रिक्रूटमेंट. हमने प्रॉपर ऑफिशियल्स को रिक्रूट किया, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर डेवलपमेंट के लिए लोगों को रिक्रूट किया. सो ड्यू टू दैट पार्ट वी आर नाउ एबल टू एनहांस द परफॉर्मेंस in the functionaries component as well. Now, my dear friends, there are some two types of scores that have been given in this particular index. So basically हमने states and UTs को divide किया two types as per their score. One is the score between 50 and 55 and the other one is score more than 55, right? इससे below वाला भी case है, but we will not be discussing that part, right? So now when we talk about the DI score between 50 and 55, there are 4 states which includes Andhra Pradesh, Himachal Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh and Odisha. तो काफी इजी है. प्रदेश, 3 प्रदेश के नाम याद रखने, आंध्रा, हिमाचल, मध्य प्रदेश, right? Along with them, Odisha is there, which is among the medium scoring states. Now guys, let's try to understand and see the important special mentions in this particular report. So we have seen that Uttar Pradesh has really transformed very well in this particular edition of this report, as we have seen that the ranking of this Uttar Pradesh has improved from 15th position to 5th position in the devolution index, which has been recently released, right? And how this was being made possible by the UP government by working on the accountability framework, right? Now when we talk about the Tripura's position has also improved from 13th to 7th position, as it has excelled इन रेवेन्यू जनरेशन एंड द फिस्कल मैनेजमेंट. तो यहां पर 2 स्टेट्स को स्पेशल मेंशन किया गया है इस रिपोर्ट के अंदर. वन इज द उत्तर प्रदेश, अदर वन इज द त्रिपुरा. तो दोनों को याद रखिए, स्पेशल मेंशन स्टेट्स आर यूपी एंड त्रिपुरा. अब आपके मन में क्वेश्चन होगा कि सर वो कौन सी स्टेट्स और यूटीज हैं विच आर हैविंग द स्कोर मोर देन 55. और क्योंकि हमने बताया कि द मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ पंचायती राज इज रैंकिंग द स्टेट्स एंड यूटीज अक्रॉस देयर स्ट्रेंथनिंग ऑफ द रूरल लोकल बॉडीज विच आर एग्जिस्टिंग इन दी स्टेट्स एंड यूटीज. सो यहां पर इंपॉर्टेंट रैंकिंग्स को कवर करना काफी इंपॉर्टेंट है. एंड हियर यू कैन सी द टॉप 10 स्टेट्स इन द पंचायत डेवोल्यूशन इंडेक्स हैविंग द DI स्कोर मोर देन 55. And you can see here Karnataka, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra, UP, Gujarat, Tripura, Rajasthan, West Bengal, Chhattisgarh. These are the top 10 states in Panchayat Devolution Index, where the top 5 states का नाम याद रखना काफी इंपॉर्टेंट है. मेक श्योर कीजिए कि टॉप 5 को याद रखिए. दैट इज कर्नाटका, केरला, तमिलनाडु, महाराष्ट्र, उत्तर प्रदेश. ठीक है, आई होप दिस पॉइंट इज क्लियर. नाउ व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट द डायमेंशन वाइज top performers, so which states have topped as per these dimensions? So we all know that there are 6 dimensions. तो हर dimension के top performer को यहाँ पर mention किया है. That is in the framework dimension it was Kerala which is on the top. Among the functions it was Tamil Nadu on the top. Finances के अंदर Karnataka is on the top. In the functionaries part Gujarat is on the top. Capacity enhancement में तेलंगाना ने top किया. Accountability में Karnataka is on the top. Right? So Karnataka has topped in the finances as well as the accountability dimension. Right? So I hope that this ranking is very much clear to all of you. Top 10 states में top 5 का याद रखिए, काफी इंपॉर्टेंट है. Now after that it is very important to remember the top performers in these 6 key dimensions as well. Right? So I hope guys that this particular report is very much clear to all of you. Okay? Now as you can see that Ministry of Panchayati Raj ranks these states and UTs to understand and to evaluate, so that these states and UTs can learn from each other and they can also devolve appropriate amount of power and responsibilities to the Panchayati Raj institutions there. Okay, so I hope ki now you will be able to retain all this important information from the exam point of view. Now let's move on to the next report, that is the Corruption Perception Index 2024. ठीक है, so guys basically corruption is basically the misuse of the entrusted power for the private gain, right? And in order to evaluate the corruption levels across the world, we are having a particular organization. इसको याद करने का क्या तरीका है? See guys, where there will be no corruption, there will be transparency, राइट और इस ट्रांसपेरेंसी को इवेल्युएट करने के लिए वी आर हैविंग अ ऑर्गेनाइजेशन एट इंटरनेशनल लेवल, दैट इज ट्रांसपेरेंसी इंटरनेशनल, okay, which basically assesses the 180 countries across the different levels of the corruption, and then it comes up with the corruption perception index, okay, where it basically ranks the countries on the basis of a scale. It basically assesses the corruption levels in the countries on a scale of 0 to 100, where you can see 0 is the most corrupt country. The country which is having the score near 0 is the most corrupt country, and the country having the score near 100 is basically the clean country, right? So this index was established in 1995 to assess the corruption levels across the world. Now guys, it's important for us to understand that what are the key rankings of this index. So here when we talk about the top 5 performers in this index, Denmark is on the top, followed by Finland, Singapore, New Zealand. But on the 5th position collectively there are 3 countries, that is Luxembourg, Norway and Switzerland. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पर एटलीस्ट टॉप 3 को याद करिए काफी अच्छे से. डेनमार्क, फिनलैंड, सिंगापुर इज द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट दैट यू नीड टू रिमेंबर. नाउ व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट द बॉटम, so guys on the 96th position, when we talk about the India guys, India was on the 96th position in this particular rankings along with Gambia and Maldives. तो Gambia और Maldives के साथ India 96th position पर था with a score of 38 in this particular CPI, that is corruption perception index. Now when we talk about the country which is on the last position at the bottom of the index, which is the most corrupt nation, it was South Sudan, which was on 180th position with a score of 8 in the CPI. तो यहाँ पर score important नहीं है आपके लिए. इंडिया का स्कोर याद रखिए काफी इंपॉर्टेंट है, दैट इज 38 और इंडिया की रैंक 96 है. टॉप पे डेनमार्क, फिनलैंड, सिंगापुर है और बॉटम पे साउथ सुदान है. दिस इज वन ऑफ द वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट यू नीड टू रिमेंबर. ओके, नाउ मूविंग अहेड टू द की हाइलाइट्स ऑफ दिस पर्टिकुलर इंडेक्स की अक्रॉस द वर्ल्ड जो करप्शन लेवल्स है वो इंक्रीज हुए हैं या डिक्रीज हुए हैं. सो व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट द ग्लोबल एवरेज स्कोर, इट हैज रिमेन्ड 43, right? Since some editions of this report we have seen that the average score at the world level is 43 for this index, which shows that yes, corruption is really posing a threat at the global level, right? Which indicates widespread corruption issues across the world. Now when we talk about the countries, कितने countries है जिनका score 50 से भी कम है? So you can see around 66% of the countries, over 2/3 of the countries scored below 50, which again highlights the global nature of corruption problem. Then my dear friends, there are 148 countries जो कि या तो स्टेगनेंट रही हैं या फिर उनकी सिचुएशन और वर्स हो गई है इन टर्म्स ऑफ करप्शन. देन 32 कंट्रीज ऐसे हैं जिन्होंने सिग्निफिकेंटली रिड्यूस किया है करप्शन लेवल्स को सिंस ईयर 2012. ठीक है, तो 32 कंट्रीज ने अपनी परफॉर्मेंस को बेटर किया है, 148 कंट्रीज स्टेगनेंट या वर्स हुई हैं और यहां पर ग्लोबल एवरेज स्कोर काफी इंपॉर्टेंट है, दैट इज 43. Now coming to the India part, so India's rank was 96th, but when we compare the India's rank with the previous edition, in the previous edition my dear friends, India's rank was 93rd, right? You can see कि इंडिया की रैंक, इंडिया की परफॉर्मेंस यहाँ पर खराब हुई है in terms of the corruption perception index. When we see, as we can see that India's score was 39 in 2023 and it has reduced to 38. India's score was 40 in 2022 and now its score has reduced to 38. So comparing it with the previous year levels, yes, we can definitely say that India's performance in the corruption level has reduced, right? Has degraded from the previous editions of the report. So I hope that the most important points are very much clear. The global CPI score is 43, India's rank is 96, previous edition mein India's rank was 93, this year India's score is 38 in this index. Now let me tell you that this report also specifically mentions about the impact of corruption levels on the climate part, right? We all know that the biggest threat right now for the humanity and for the life on earth is the climate change, right? And we all know that we are having the sustainable development goals as well, which we want to achieve by 2030. As we see that there is a leakage of funds, we have basically allocated a lot of funds for these sustainable projects, but there is a leakage of funds and that's why these projects also get impacted. That's why corruption is really posing a bigger threat at the entire international level. You can see here corruption is hindering climate action by obstructing the policies and misappropriating funds. वो फंड्स जो हमारे सस्टेनेबल प्रोजेक्ट्स के लिए यूज होने चाहिए थे, तो पॉलिसीज में चेंजेस करके वी आर बेसिकली providing more and more advantages to the organizations which are still running on fossil fuels. तो यहाँ पर इस तरीके की जो corruption है, it is posing the threat across the international level. Environmental damage, corruption leads to severe environmental harm, exacerbating the climate crisis. Then financial mismanagement is there. Funds intended for climate mitigation adaptation are stolen or misused. So this is something which is posing this issue, and that's how corruption is basically the major responsible for this part. Then corruption contributes to the decline of democracy, human rights, and violations and instability worldwide. Apart from that, illicit financial flows, guys, financial hubs, वो countries जिनका CPI score काफी high है, right? They attract illicit funds. उनके अंदर वो काफी illicit funds को attract करते हैं, which are being used for basically environmental destruction, right, which are being used by the companies which are still running on fossil fuels, which are also used on the criminal activities. So that's how this corruption is really impacting the overall environment in our society. Okay, so I hope key major things we have already discussed in a very detailed manner in this report. I hope that it will be very easy for you to remember. Now my dear friends, let's move on to the next report. Let me tell you that this report is more important for your banking examinations. The people who are preparing for I would say RBI or the NABARD, right now you are not required to cover this report very comprehensively. Just a reading आपके लिए काफी ज्यादा सफिशिएंट रहेगा, ठीक है. तो दिस रिपोर्ट इज द फोर्ब्स रैंक्स द मोस्ट पावरफुल कंट्रीज इन 2025. तो एज पर फोर्ब recent report, it has mentioned the most powerful countries in 2025, which is basically across the different dimensions. The power of the countries are assessed across the different dimensions, which includes their leadership role, economic influences across the world, political influence, strong international alliances with the other countries, and strong military. Right. So when we talk about this report, guys, in this report, India has been ranked 12th in this particular most powerful countries 2025 report. When we talk in the economic part, India has the 5th largest economy in the world. In the military strength, India possesses 4th largest military globally across the world. Okay. Now it's very important for us to cover the top 10 countries. So here, let me tell you, although top 10 powerful countries are being mentioned by this report, but we will only be covering the top 5 countries. Okay, as per the requirement of our examination. So here US is on the top, followed by China, Russia, UK, and Germany. So these are the top 5 most powerful countries, and after that, on the 12th position, it is India. The most important thing that you should remember from exam point of view. Now let's move on to the questions. Now let's try to solve some MCQs on the basis of these reports. Here is the very first question. On the devolution to panchayat, which of the following statements are true? Again, you have to go through these statements, identify the statements which are correct. First statement is, which organization has prepared the report? That is IIPA, absolutely right. And this report is topped by Karnataka, absolutely right. This statement is absolutely correct. Then devolution to rural local bodies has increased from 39.9 to 43.9%. We have discussed that overall devolution across India to the rural local bodies has increased from the previous edition, right? Now the 6 dimensions of devolution includes framework, functionaries, capacity enhancement, and accountability. So yes, all of these are the dimensions. So this statement is also right. So right answer will be option E, that is all of the above. So to this question, option E is the right answer. Moving to the next question, that is on the corruption perception index. Again, we need to identify the correct statements here. First statement is Denmark is ranked last at position 180 and is considered the most corrupt country. Guys, we all know that Denmark is the country which is having the score nearby 100 and it is on the top. So it is ranked first and not ranked 180th. That's why the statement is incorrect. Second statement, जो global average score है corruption perception का, it is 50. Guys, we have already discussed that the global corruption score is around 43. So that's why this statement is again incorrect. Third statement, India's rank in the 2024 corruption perception index is 93. So 93 rank was in the previous edition. In 2023, in 2024, it is 96. So this statement is also incorrect. Right answer will be none of the above, as there is not a single statement which is correct here. So none of the above will be the right answer to this question. I hope this is clear, guys. And now I'm having a homework question as well for all of you, and the homework question is here on the screen, which is on the state of devolution to panchayat report, and you have to identify here which of the following statements are correct with respect to this particular report. Okay, so please try to answer this question in the comment section. Pause this slide right now and try to answer the question in the comment section. Now, if I talk about the homework question of the previous session, the homework question was on the first ever regional dialogue on the global coalition for social justice. And here guys, the right answer was option A, that statement number 1 and 2 are correct, as it mentions that only the Ministry of Commerce and Industry participated in the event. We all know, as per the discussion, there were 4 ministries which participated in this event, right? That's why this statement is incorrect and the right answer is option A. So my dear friends, that was all from the today's session, and I hope that today's session was really fruitful and useful to all of you. और आप सभी ने आज का सेशन काफ़ी अच्छे से एंजॉय किया. और गाइस, इन YouTube सेशन से काफ़ी इंपॉर्टेंट है जो हम सीखते हैं कि कैसे हमें अप्रोच करना चाहिए किसी टॉपिक को, किस टॉपिक से हमें क्या क्या चीज़ों को कवर करना चाहिए, कितना कवर करना चाहिए. दैट्स व्हाट अंडरस्टैंडिंग वी प्रोवाइड यू इन दिस सेशंस, राइट? सो मेक श्योर that you should make the most out of these sessions. And guys, if you want to get notified about such more sessions, please press the bell icon, and in order to receive all the notifications of the latest videos and offers that we come always for all of you. And apart from that, for the revision of this session, you will be requiring the PDF. You can download the PDF from the Telegram channel, the link to which is given in the description of this particular session, right? So my dear friends, that was all from the today's session. I hope that this session was really fruitful and useful to all of you. And if any queries, you can definitely mention your queries in the comment section, and you can also call us at 814-620-7241. You can share your queries at hello@edutap.co.in as well. Right now, my dear friends, I will be meeting you in the next session with more current affairs. Till then, stay happy, stay healthy. Wish you all happy learning.